Hello and welcome back to my YouTube channel, A Different Life. In this video I'm going to talk about some of my favourite additions to this boat. It's a Mini 47 which I live on it. My favourite additions to the boat from the point of view of being a liveaboard and staying on this boat year round in a fairly harsh climate, Western Scotland. Not super cold here, but a temperate climate. Very wet and windy in the winter, so condensation is a huge issue in this part of the world, living on a boat. But anyway, I'm going to focus in this video on my three favourite additions. I've completely refitted this boat and I'm almost at the end of that process. So I've put some major changes to the boat. And my three favourite things, I'll briefly tell you what they are and then we'll have a look at each of them independently. I'm sitting beside my number one thing here, the wood stove, which I fitted, which is just fantastic. I get driftwood or offcuts from joineries, etc., depending on where I am, and I have a battery operated reciprocal saw, which I can use to saw up wood, branches, little tree trunks, whatever, and usually in the summertime I'll stash 5 or 6 big black bags full of wood on the decks for the winter, so that I've got wood to burn during the winter. Right now it's early April, and I've burnt pretty much all my wood. I'm down to the last kind of the last of it, and I've got a fire going right now. The wood stove is just a great thing, you know. When it is super cold, sometimes we do get real cold snaps, 2 or 3 weeks at -10. When I've stayed up in Corpac and Fort William, for example, it's just great to have a wood stove on it. It heats up the boat. It's a dry heat. It's a warm heat, obviously, and I just love it. Everybody that's come in this boat when the wood stove's been on, as soon as they come in the saloon here, their face lights up with a big smile. And I could probably make myself a full-time living installing wood stoves on boats, because I haven't met anybody with a boat that hasn't said, "Oh, I'd love one of them on my boat." And as I say, everybody that's seen it just breaks into an ear-to-ear grin at the concept of a toasty wood stove in a yacht, in a sailboat. Fantastic, absolutely fantastic. So that's one of the three. The second of the three things is I have a Daewoo Mini washing machine. It's a small wall-mounted washing machine. We'll see it in detail, and we'll see it working in a minute or two. And it's revolutionised my life. No longer do I need to search out marinas or laundromats in order to get my washing done. I can just do it on board with power that I generate from the solar panels, using the inverter to power the actual washing machine itself. And it's just great, fantastic. I can do a lot. It's a 2.5 kilogram front loading washing machine, wall mounted. I haven't found any other wall mounted washing machines in the entire world. Maybe there is another one, but I think the Daewoo Mini is the only one. And other people that I know that have it have also. It revolutionizes your life in a boat when you can do the laundry on board and not have to concern yourself about seeking out a laundroma, or ending up with 3 weeks of dirty clothes and a huge sack full of clothes to take and get washed. I can do a little wash once a week and keep on top of it all, and it's great. And when I dry stuff, what I do is I hang it up in the saloon here, switch on my dehumidifier, get the wood stove fired up, which is nice dry heat, and I can even on a wet damp day I can dry out an entire washing in a day quite easily, and it's using energy that I've created for the electricity for the washing machine, and using wood that I've gathered from beaches, etc., for the wood stove. And again, my electricity drives the dehumidifier, so it's close to being self-sufficient, certainly in the summertime. The third thing in the boat that's my favourite thing, and I wish I had done this early on, 5 or 6 years ago when I first got the boat, and that is I put a workbench in the front bedroom. We'll have a look at that in detail in a minute or two. But having a workbench on the boat has revolutionised doing jobs. I have a vise on the workbench, I have tool cabinets, I used to have 13 different toolboxes scattered throughout the boat, and I would have to find them. No longer. Everything's to hand on the workbench. So, without any further ado, let's get into the three of them. We'll look at them in detail. So when I'm sailing, I have the chimney capped off, and when I'm at anchor or at dock and I'm going to use the chimney, I just pop it on like so, and it's good at that. It's been in 50 knot plus winds in the harbours, and it stays on. It's solid, fantastic. The stove itself is made by a Canadian company, Cubic Mini wood stoves. This is their second smallest stove. It's called I think it's called the Grizzly, and it can take logs up to about 7 inches, no longer than 7 inches in length, to get through that wee door in the front. I use natural fire lighters to get the fire going. Quite effective. It's a fabulous little stove. It's just the right size for this size of saloon. Where the hearth is used to be a cushion, and it was a U-shaped settee, and I just had the cushions changed and fitted a stainless steel grill or guard, if you like, between the stove and the cushions. You'll see that on the right hand side in a minute. But when the stove gets going, it's absolutely fantastic. It's toasty, it's great, it's nice and small, well contained. It has you can see the divider on the right hand side of the stove there. It's what's separate, keeps the heat off the cushion. So the chimney itself goes up, and it's protected. The heat is protected from the wood by the stainless steel guard, for want of a better word, that you can see at the back here. So the stainless steel that mounts with a spacer onto the bulkhead is actually an add-on, an extra that you can buy from Cubic Mini wood stoves themselves. It's got a tray at the bottom that pulls out for collecting ash when you're cleaning the stove, and the whole stove is actually mounted. Well, before I talk about that, there's a draft control that my hands are on, so you can control, using both of these levers, the amount of air that combusts in the chamber of the wood stove. The wood stove itself is actually suspended in the air, so it's not touching anything on the ground. It's held via some bolts and a special bracket at the back of the stove, and this bracket is bolted all the way through the bulkhead, and it's a pretty solid installation. You can see the bracket just out of view at the bottom there. The guard itself is an air gap of about 25 millimeters behind it, so the air can freely circulate, stops the wood from getting warm or too warm. And there's a special fitting at the top of the chimney where it goes through the ceiling, again designed for this purpose. It's a compact little stove. It works well in the space. So this little thing has revolutionized my life as a liveaboard sailor. I used to have to go to marinas and hole up and to get my clothes washed. But this is I gather it's the only one of its kind in the world, in that it's a wall-mounted front-loading washing machine, which has actually, as I say, revolutionized my life. Now I can wash my clothes using boat power, solar generated, without any need to go anywhere. The cycle only takes over about half an hour, and it's very, very good. You can see it's a compact unit. I'm just going to get some detergent, then we'll switch it on. So now we're all loaded up, ready to go. Press the power button, it leaps to life, and there we go. It's going to start going soon. As I say, half an hour from now my clothes will be washed. It's a cold wash, it's got a good spin, comes out half dry, and it's a nice sunny day outside, so I'll dry the washing on the lines and the lifelines are in the boat, and it's all good to go. As you can hear, it's not very loud, perfectly palatable sound wise. It's going through the wash part right now. In about 20 minutes it'll start the spin cycles. We'll have a look at it then. So right now it's in a spin cycle. It's getting to the end of the wash. As you can see and hear, it's fairly quiet, it's fairly innocuous. Vibrations are minimal. Absolutely great. So this is the front, what was the front bedroom, still is a bedroom to an extent, but it's also the workshop now. When I first got the boat, this room had the double Pullman berth here, and on this side, at this level, there was a single berth. So what I've done is I've added this cabinetry. It's a bit rough and ready. I'll finish it off nicer in due course to give me extra storage space. And again, if I take what's in this storage space out, I have access to down here where my foot is, where there's further storage space. But you can see I have room for some power tools and various bits and bobs. So really this side of the room is what I would describe as my workshop. And it's, you know, when I built the cabinetry, I built it real solid. And it's just great. So what I've done is I put a shelf in here. I have this unit here for tools. You know, it means I can stash all my stuff where I can get it easily to hand. This is the drilling drawer where all the drill bits and my hole saws, etc. Little drawers on the top here, various bits and bobs. And I've got some storage space which I'm not utilizing right behind here. And again, I've got the vacuum wet and dry here. When I go sailing, everything gets completely put away, so there's nothing left lying about here to fall on the floor or whatever. This is my workbench. I'm going to be doing fitting some more electronics next week, so I've got a new controller and a Servo GX Mark II unit with a touchscreen 7-inch display. Next week's project, but I've got this vise. And it's great. I can actually swivel this vise around so I can use it at any angle. Then I've got this toolbox here. Both these toolboxes are rigidly fixed into the boat. This one's bolted onto the workbench. And again, you can see I've got everything easily to hand. Mixed tools in this drawer. Screwdrivers and some screws. My electrical shelf. And the general purpose, not used very often, shelf up top. Everything, all these drawers lock, so when I'm at sea they're all locked up. On this one there are two straps. These two straps go down the outside and stop anything from accidentally opening, spilling the contents everywhere. But it's just wonderful to have a bench. I mean, I've done so much work to this boat. And now that I have the workshop, it really makes a huge difference, because A, I can get to my tools easily. B, I've got a bench that I can put stuff out on and not have to worry about it being in my way. And I've got extra storage in this cabinet that I never used to have in the boat. You can never have too much storage if you're a liveaboard. And generally it's fantastic. There's the washing machine that we saw earlier. You know, I still have a bed here and a bunk bed up here, but I've got a lot of stuff at the moment, so you know, it's great, absolutely great. And you know, I think every serious offshore sailor should have a workbench of some kind. I mean, I remember seeing a video that Skip Novak did talking about sailing in the Southern Ocean and how they skipper every week in 50 knot plus winds. And I remember him saying, it stuck in my memory, that half of being a good skipper in the Southern Ocean is being able to fix the boat at any time with whatever tools and materials you have on the boat. And I'll tell you, having a workbench like this definitely facilitates that. So yeah, this is it. Well, that concludes my tour of the 3 things in the boat that I really enjoy having and have revolutionized my life as a liveaboard on the boat. None of these 3 things existed on the boat when I first got it. I wish I had put the workbench in earlier than I did. It's only been in for about a year and a half now. I've had the boat 6 years, so I should have put it in to begin with. But these things have really made life much easier for me. Well, if you've made it this far, thank you very much for watching. I really appreciate it. Please consider giving me a like and subscribing to the channel. I'm still in the process of getting this channel up and running, and it really helps the performance in the YouTube algorithm if people like it, if they leave a comment, if they subscribe to the channel. So thanks again for watching. Until the next time, take it easy.